You're very welcome along to the Women's National League weekly player profiles. This week it's all about Cork City. We have Lauren Singleton with us. Lauren, thanks very much for coming on.
Thanks so much
Difficult,
for having me.
yeah, great to have you as always. Difficult start to the season for you so far. Some positives to take from last weekend. How do you feel about the opening three rounds?
Well, obviously the first game against Galway, I think we just didn't get off the mark in the first half. We literally just let them come at us and it just wasn't, and no one's performance was good enough in the first half. And it's just very disappointing because then we went out the second half and we went at them. And I think that's what we need to do to teams. But like, as we said, we need to work on from the first whistle. We seem to, that kind of happened a bit last year, like where we just start going in the second half. So we need to keep going from the first whistle. Obviously we didn't have the match against Treaty, which was kind of disappointing because we were really wanted to work on what we were working on for the week, and then obviously got cancelled the night before. So then we had Sligo, and that was very disappointing, to be honest, because we had a lot of positives from that game. We just couldn't finish the ball. That was basically it. Couldn't get the ball into the back of the net. But I felt like the performance was good, but we can't just keep going having good performances if we're not scoring goals. So obviously very disappointed with that after last weekend.
Yeah. Is that the kind of thing you mentioned they're getting going in the games, getting started from the first whistle? Is that the kind of thing you think will come as the season goes on? Or is that the kind of thing that you're able to is that a mindset thing you're able to change immediately?
Yeah, like I think actually, to be fair, we did have a good mindset going to Sligo. I think we did go from the first whistle because we were very disappointed obviously with Galway. So we went at them and we created loads of chances and we were getting the ball up high. Because like last season, I feel like we played a lot in our own half. So we played a lot in their half, I felt. So that was quite a positive for us. But obviously not finishing the ball is just not good enough, to be honest. And I think that's one of the big things now that needs to be worked on for this season.
What I suppose were the expectations going into this season? Because 2 seasons ago was great, finished fourth, got to the cup final. That was a great season. Then last season, probably a little bit of a disappointment by those standards. So what were the expectations going into this season?
Well, the expectations is just to compete with every team. Like obviously we feel like we can get up there, and obviously with the fourth, fifth, sixth kind of position, like first to third, like we just have to compete against them teams. But I think we always put on a good performance against them type teams, and then it's the teams that are like would be the same kind of level as us. We kind of just we don't perform, and that's obviously a big thing that we need to work on, because like you have to be performing in every game. It's not only against the big teams or whatever. And obviously the start now hasn't been great, but I feel like we can just only go up, to be honest, if we just keep working.
It seems like the league is more competitive than it's ever been. It seems like we've been saying it the last few seasons that the league's just getting more and more competitive. There's certainly we have the traditional top three, and then we kind of have a group of teams who could finish in that fourth spot or even third spot. So it seems as though there's certainly no easy games now in the league, not even with the newer teams.
Oh no, definitely not. Sligo really did put on a good performance. Like no one knew much about them or anything, obviously, and they gave us a great game. To be fair, like they have quite a good few players. But any team now, you go to any stadium now, you don't know what's going to happen. After matches, when you're looking at the scores of the other matches, you don't know. You can't predict any games this season anyway. Definitely, I feel like the competitiveness of every team is just sky high. Like
One of the highlights of last season in the league in general, and particularly for Cork City, was breaking the attendance record. That was a great day. I'm sure. I'm sure that was a great atmosphere to play in, and I'm sure you'd love to get a crowd of over 1,000 into Turner's Cross for another Women's National League game.
yeah, no, that was probably definitely the highlight for us. It was great to have loads of kids coming and seeing like Cork City players and all like trying to be role models for them, and just it was great to have that roar in the stadium, like not used to having that, and it was great to be playing, and it made it more like intense the game, like even though obviously Treaty are rivals, so it was obviously going to be a good game anyways, whoever was there, but it just added to it. It was brilliant.
Yeah, it was a great occasion. We had a big crowd in the first or the second game round for Sligo against DLR Waves. The league is getting a lot more attention. It is, and that was helped last season by the games being streamed on LOI TV. It seems like it seems like just women's football in this country in general is beginning to be taken a lot more seriously, whether it's the international or the domestic league.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think with the LOI and then like TG Carr coming on board as well a bit, it's great to see. Like, so I think though more people are coming and being like, oh, like there's actually women's games on this weekend. Like, you know, some people are just waiting for Premier League or even the League of Ireland and stuff. And it's great with the publicity that now with all like the social media, and it's gotten way bigger every season. It's great to see.
And you've come up through the youth academy in Cork City. Were you always going to play for Cork City? Was that always the only option?
Yeah, like it's always the minute you went into the academy, like your goal is to get on that senior squad, like, and like it wasn't as big when I was in the academy, like, you know, like the publicity around Ireland, but as I was playing, like it was getting bigger and bigger, like being in when I was in the academy in the cup final, the girls, and like when they won it, and like that just brought in, like everyone was like, oh, I want to play for Cork City, like when you're not playing in the local league all the time, like.
I imagine the run to the cup final 2 years ago as well obviously ended disappointingly, but I imagine the run to the cup final was very special.
Yeah, no, it was great. We had Bows in the quarterfinal, and like you never know who you're going to get drawn against next. And it was great then, and we had a good game up there. It's always a tough game up in Bows, and then we had Treaty at home, and it was just there was actually quite a good crowd there, and it just really helped. Even though we weren't in Turner's Cross then, but it didn't matter. People still came and supported. And then obviously the final itself has a lot to speak for itself.
Yeah, it was one of those days. The result probably didn't reflect the performance of the season. But in terms of your footballing career, were you always going to be a footballer growing up?
Yeah, like I started off when I was always playing with boys, like because there wasn't much girls team, and I'm from the country, like, so there's not very much teams around. So I started playing with boys, and then when you get to under 11s, you have to go to girls then. So then I had to travel, and I always have to travel for my football. But it was really a thing that I was like, okay, I actually want to do well in this. So I always pushed myself to, even if I had to go to a new club or make new friends at places and stuff. But it was always great because I really enjoyed playing it, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, it seems as though everyone in the Women's National League has had to show a real commitment, whether it's trekking to play for a new underage team, or whether it's there were times where you would be basically paying to play in the league. So it seems like that commitment can't really be questioned.
No, geez, like the commitment that some girls, like even on Cork City, make, like the traveling, and it's just great to see that people are just for the love of the sport, like, so it's great to see.
Well, Lauren, thanks very much for talking to us, and all the best for the rest of the season.
Perfect. Thanks so much.
You can get all our Women's National League player profiles and the Women's National League wrap on our YouTube. Remember to hit subscribe below, and we'll be back next week with another interview. Thanks very much for listening, and stay safe.